I am Curly Joe, a cannabis sensuality coach and certified erotic blueprint coach. In this video, you are going to discover your erotic blueprint type. Miss Jaya created the erotic blueprint types to help you have a better understanding of how your desire and arousal works. Understanding your erotic blueprint gives you language and deeper awareness on how you're individually wired to receive pleasure. Each and every one of us has a unique pathway to arousal and turn on. That discovering your erotic blueprint gives you a deeper understanding and awareness, and then gives you language that you can then communicate to your partner, which is so profound. In the culture, or the modern day culture of our sexuality, I find that we're really missing permission. We're lacking permission. Permission to explore and have fun with our pleasure and turn on. But also the permission to be with what we discover about ourselves. You might be with a lover one day and deeply, deeply have this desire for them to start spanking you. Do you ask to be spanked? Or do you go into a little bit of a shadow or go into a little bit of shame? Like, that's not okay. What's wrong with me? Why do I want to be hit? That's the permission that we're talking about. Can we give ourselves permission that your unique pathway is to be spanked? Or maybe your unique pathway is just to explore variety and you want to be able to call it out in the moment, like, and that be okay. Understanding your erotic blueprint, for me personally on my journey and with my husband, has made such a huge impact on the way that we communicate with each other, the way we relate to one another. And it's increased our sexuality so much, giving him this language that he understands, taking the guesswork out of it, taking the shame out of it. So let's dive in on exploring the 5 different blueprint types. The first one is energetic, turned on by anticipation and tease and yearning. Energetics are super hypersensitive. They feel things on a really, really deep level. Therefore, deep connection and presence with a partner is one of their pathways to pleasure. Because of this hypersensitivity, energetics can actually short circuit when they are approached too soon or their genitals touched too soon. The second is sensual, and you're turned on by all 5 of your senses activated. Your arousal is heightened by taste and smell and sound and sight and touch and feelings. You bring beauty and aesthetic to sexuality, but you also have a hard time getting out of your head and being in the present moment. The third is sexual, turned on by penetration, nudity, and orgasm. You are simplistic. You are never boring. And you're somewhat easy to please because as long as you're having an orgasm, you're happy. But sometimes we get a little too, or sexuals get a little too goal focused. And that becomes a fixated path. I'm just here for the orgasm. And you miss the journey. The fourth is kinky. And kinky is turned on by taboo. And what I mean by taboo is anything outside of the cultural norm. You bring creativity to the bedroom. But shame can often follow. Shame that your desires or your pathway to pleasure is exactly the taboo. And asking for what you want and what you desire can bring up shame. The fifth and final erotic blueprint type is shapeshifters. So shapeshifters are turned on by it all and they want it all. So shapeshifters actually take on all of the different erotic blueprints. So they have a pathway through energetic, through sensual, through sexual, and through kinky. You are really, really fun to play with. You find pleasure in just about everything. But because you're always shifting to match your partner or lover's blueprint, sometimes you don't actually feel sexually fulfilled, leaving you feeling like you want more or that your pleasure is too much. Now, hearing the 5 different erotic blueprint types, you can probably already start to gather which blueprint sounds the most like you. And I'm sure that you can identify with different parts of each of them, but for majority of us, we have a primary blueprint and a secondary blueprint. And finding out which blueprint you are, the discovery can be so much fun. My invitation to you is to explore your roadmap to pleasure through the lens of curiosity and play, and give yourself permission to explore, and permission to receive, and permission to just be, because your pleasure is beautiful. I, as well as your lover, get full joy out of seeing you in your highest aroused state. So let's continue to discover our erotic blueprints. Let's take this a little bit deeper. I have created a quiz. It's called Cannabis for Your Sexual Satisfaction. I know that we haven't talked about cannabis in this video, but I thought it's important to go over the erotic blueprints first, and then we'll be talking about cannabis. But the quiz is 10 questions for you to have a better understanding on which erotic blueprint you are. And within the email, you'll get a lot of information about your blueprint, but you'll also receive information on cannabis for best pairing for your erotic blueprint. So head below and take the quiz, and I would love if you commented and shared which blueprint you are. Sending you higher intimacy and deeper love. Mwah!